Alright, hello and welcome to Echoes of Color with Jefferey Morrison. How's it going? Today we're going to do another whip and chat here with The Colors of Life by Chuck Pinson. 80 centimeters by 60 centimeters, or 31.5 inches by 23.6 inches. 52 colors, including 1AB, which stands for Aurora Borealis, and they're an iridescent coated type of drill that sparkles a little brighter than that of regular drills. This is the Dreamer Designs version of this canvas. However, it is no longer available through Dreamer Designs, so check out the Diamond Art Club or app for website or app for a similar version of this canvas. I'll note that in the description as usual. Okay. So, how's it going? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. All that fun stuff. 400. Oh, I think those were the drills that I spelt the other day, but never. Oh, yeah, I cleaned the drafting table. Legit. Okay, yeah, I spelled drills the other day. Okay, 3371. Right facing arrow. Okay, did that. Oh, okay, I just did the right facing arrow and then, cleaned up the drills the other day. Okay, cool. Let's try round bracket. It's around here somewhere. 317. Alright, we'll start there. Okay. Yep, so I've been watching the very start of One Piece anime Netflix there, so I'll never probably be caught up, but I still like Luffy and the other characters, so Monkey D. Luffy, yeah, but he just calls himself Luffy. Yeah, so straw hat kind of pirate guy. So cool. I like the animation. Maybe a little creepy to other people, but yeah, I'm sure the animations looks a lot more crisp with 20 something seasons later. Yeah, the animation pretty cool. At the start too, so I like the animation style, so that's part of the appeal, but I don't know, with animation, the stories can be a little more outlandish, because the characters in the story can act in a crazier way, or express themselves a lot easier than that of regular live action. Yeah, because anime has specific methods of displaying emotion, like certain character traits or faces that the characters can make to convey to the audience that this character is feeling that way, a certain way. Yeah, it's part of the charm of anime too. It's a different form of storytelling, but it's pretty straightforward. In a way. I don't know, you know how a character is feeling just by their expressions and stuff. It's kind of helps it make it easier to understand what's going on too. Even though the show could be dubbed in English and all that, but yeah. just the facial expressions and how the characters react in certain situations really helps carry the story along too. Yeah, One Piece is where there can be various situations at once, and the show just kind of follows a couple different characters while they're apart. Or if there's like a major battle, it can be broken into pieces for the viewer so that there's just not too much going on at once. Yeah, that was one of the more recent batch of episodes I watched. There was a battle with an antagonist and Luffy and his budding pirate crew, like at the start here. And the characters were separated for a few episodes. So each episode kind of showed a snippet of what was going on between the different groups of characters, and the story carried through until they met up again. And yeah, they were together, but yeah, there were elements of the battle where characters were fighting antagonists just a short distance away from one another. So yeah, it's a cool method of storytelling, but it's all like one battle, just conveyed differently or described differently to the viewer. So kind of cool. It's kind of like in fiction, high fantasy, for an example. There could be like one group of characters in one part of the world trying to do something or find somebody, and then there's another group of characters doing with a similar goal in hand, but they have to go somewhere else in the universe or story to complete their objectives or what they're trying to do, and then they reunite possibly sometime in the literature or TV show, etc. And the story just carries on to branch to a new storyline. So yeah, storytelling has its variances in order to carry the main story along, and it kind of spotlights certain characters too, gives them like a moment in the spotlight, how they react individually while not being in a group. So yeah, you get character growth in a story that way too. So yeah, that concept has probably been around forever, just character growth through storytelling. I know, I like One Piece, and once I saw it on Netflix, I was like, hey, it's an anime I actually recognize right away. There's tons of different anime out there, but I, in a lifetime, could not keep track of it all or be able to follow it. It's just, some of them have just run for so long. Yeah, One Piece I can binge watch like 3 episodes or so while lying in bed, and then yeah. But there is a certain storyline that carries for a few episodes, can carry for a dozen episodes or so. that I found in season 1 of One Piece. Just probably like 3 or 4 different situations told through like 18 or so episodes that I've seen. Yeah, just like wow. And they cleverly introduced characters into the show from like very brief scenes at like the end of an episode or something. They just show a new character very briefly at the end of an episode, and then they come into play shortly in the next episode. So kind of like a cliffhanger or a hook to keep you going. It's like, hey, who's this character? Oh, what role are they gonna play? Yep. Yeah, at the start of One Piece, like, Luffy is trying to find a crew, like, building his crew, and by the sounds of it, it's just, like, drifting around the Grand Line. Like, he has no certain direction to go at the very start. Like, he's just kind of drifting around, kind of looking for a crew. It's kind of funny. I know, Luffy had like a little tiny like raft with a sail on it. And here he is on the ocean. Just drifting around. Must be like various islands or something, because boats are like very prominent in One Piece. Like, it must be like various island nations or something. You'd get a glimpse of maps eventually. Like, one of the characters is like the navigator for the crew, or acting navigator. Nami, I believe, or something. But she's a thief as well, so. Nami. I think it's Nami, but these are like the earlier episodes, like how it all started kind of thing that I'm watching right now. So, yeah. Couldn't even possibly understand what is happening in later episodes. Like, Luffy and the crew go through like so much in that One Piece anime. That's a lot for some characters to go through. And between the show, there's like movies that One Piece movies that carry part of the story along, or I don't know if they're like canon or just an extension of a story. I couldn't tell you. I think there's a couple One Piece movies though, where you get like a bonus story. Unless it's part of Luffy's journey. I wouldn't see why it wouldn't be part of Luffy's journey if it was a movie. I might have seen snippets of one of those movies. I don't know if there's how many One Piece movies there are, but yeah, there's certainly video games. I have one of them. It's just sitting in cellophane in my room, but it's one of those games that you just have to sit down and play. But holy cow, with my work schedule, biking, indoor biking and stuff, it's just sit down and play like I have to bike. To keep raising funds for food banks and shelters, so I have to keep going with that. I just can't suddenly stop cold turkey to just start playing video games in that times, man. Yeah, I kind of have to spend my time wisely with my days off. Well, I bike every day, but yeah, even if it's just for like 10 kilometers, I'd still bike. So I kind of aim for 30 kilometers. Good hearty bike ride a day, but that's just not possible after a 12-hour shift. Like, I have to get home like after day shift, like after 7 p.m. have supper, maybe help with the dishwasher, like just unwind a little, and then have a shower, and then I can get on the bike. I don't know, time's like very limited after like a 12-hour day on my full time. But I have to work with what I have. So as long as I get on to the indoor bike, that's what counts. Bike every day. Even like a few kilometers just on one day still gets me closer to helping food banks and shelters. It's still an accumulation of kilometers to get there. Well, it can only do so much in a day, and I have to work, so yeah. Indoor biking secondary, but it's still a routine part of my day. It's like habit now. Equal sign. Yeah, I had a Bluetooth sensor to measure the speed I was biking, and that translated into distance. Automatically calculated and captured with my cell phone's Bluetooth capabilities, but that's like the second sensor that has like died on me. So I just found the calculation to just get the distance by time, and then just create a baseline speed, 10.5 kilometers an hour. Use that in the calculation. Distance equals speed times time, and time is x over 60, like the figure in minutes over 60. So yeah, I searched that up. I'm not a mathematician, but that's a calculation I can handle doing once I understood how to do it. So I'm one who uses a calculator. I keep diligent records of each of my rides, and if it is just like 5 or 6 kilometers, it still counts. I was on the bike for that period of time. Indoor bike, that is. I don't have a working mountain bike. I just bike indoors with just an indoor bike I bought off of Amazon. It works, so just work with what you have. So alright, just the equal sign here, 3860. Yeah, this is just like a shoreline, like by a stream or something. This segment of the canvas. Yeah, I kind of keep describing where I am on the canvas, even though you've probably heard it like hundreds of times. So I tend to stay on one section for a while. Yeah, yet again, work schedule, so gotta try and make time for stuff. Gotta space my time out, because this is my mom's studio, really. I'm just in a corner of it. It's my diamond painting stuff, so I own this drafting table and yeah, all the canvases that I have. So yeah, I think I got this drafting table off of Amazon too, to be like honest. I have seen drafting tables like at a local office business store, Staples or whatever, call it up here. Basics, or I think it's Staples now, but yeah, Amazon just has more of a selection. Just, and you get it in half decent time. But most of the time, anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I had a table or something, but it for larger canvases, it just was rough to do diamond paint on a flat table. It's like a lot of bending over the table to get to parts of the canvas. Way back when. A few years ago now. I barely have a recollection of time anymore. Just look at what the date is today and then just work with that. Oh. Probably couldn't tell you what I was doing like 2 years ago. Like, accurately enough. I'll have that good of memory recall. It's kind of basically live in the moment. Just live in the present day. And it's kind of have to, or else nothing's going to make sense. I'm surprised I have Samsung staying on. Battery was like really low. I have it plugged in, charging, but surprised it's still going. Usually if it's in like the high 10% percentage mark, usually just shuts itself off. But not in this case. So. I had to charge my iPhone too. I just fell asleep listening to music on it last night. Didn't exit out of the apps apparently, so I just had some Mixcloud radio broadcast still going this morning. It's like, oh crap. You broadcasts that I go through that I didn't really listen to. Yeah, you can fall asleep and be listening to music, but yeah, I don't think you actually physically hear the music as you're sleeping. If you're in a certain state of sleep, like REM. Deep kind of sleep. So I must get to REM briefly, I guess. I sleep eventually, but yeah, this equal sign is just kind of everywhere. Oh, the weather report said it was going to be very windy today, gusts up to 70 to 90 kilometers per hour. I'm up here in Canada, so doing kilometers per hour up here. Down in the US, it would be miles per hour. And that's probably a variance in speed there. I think miles per hour reads higher and faster than that of kilometers per hour, according to the conversion, I'd imagine. But yeah, in Celsius and Fahrenheit too, there's a variance. Well, they're still miles per hour and kilometers per hour together on a speedometer in a car, or displayed in a car, I think. Well, cars will always have to have a visual speedometer in them. Or I think they're digitized now. Dashboards are mostly computer screens. Basically an onboard computer in your dashboard of your car these days. I still have physical odometers, gauges in my car, so I'm going completely digital yet, unless that's electric cars where the screens are totally digital. I don't know if that's like a good idea in a car, because the screen could give out or something and you don't know how fast you're going. Yeah, I've seen those really fancy car commercials where they're electric cars and like you're basically, your car's a computer screen. Computer with wheels. It's like, ooh. Like you're paying for your tacking your dashboard. But anyway, you've been watching Echoes of Color with Jeffery Morrison. Down below in the description, I'll put the main website link for Conqueror for not too much longer. And delete that app after I'm done the 10,000 kilometer challenge, I think. Yeah, I just bike, so And I'll mention that this is no longer available through Dreamer Designs. I'll just keep mentioning that. Hopefully it's still on the Diamond Art Club website or app. Size is different. I think there's more colors. So I think that's the variant. But yeah, other than that, take care. All the best with your crafting endeavors and hobbies, and I will see you sometime again soon. Bye.